Welcome to the Real Knowledge Podcast. I'm Tierras, your host. Today we have two special guests here, and they have an excellent service. They do limo service here in the Miami area, and they are killing it in the industry. And I wanted to introduce to you Al Lopez, and we got Eli. Eli, what's your last name?
Villanueva.
Villanueva. Sorry, I should have known that. Ex-pro player, and I don't know his last name, so I'm messing up there.
It's all right, don't worry.
So I wanted to get you guys in here to tell, show everybody that how you guys come from two different backgrounds, and you've come together to start a new business, which would be the limo service, and then it's called Powerhouse. We'll get all of those details, within the video, but. I wanted to touch base. We have Al over here. He's been working for 20 years in education. So he is in an industry that has nothing to do with limo service, but just to show you that you are able to do something else and not just stay stuck in one position, one job. There's extra income that you would want to make. Eli comes from ex-pro player for the Marlins, and he's been killing it with the whole limo service with Al. So these guys have a lot of rides. These people help hundreds of people every day in the Miami area. So Al, tell me a little bit about how you started with the limo service and how you've started and your journey through it.
Well, it's funny, T, that how it really just fell in our lap, because I had a few people tell me, listen, what are you doing after work? I have a couple different opportunities to be driving some ex-athletes or current athletes for different major league teams. And I'm like, no, I would never do that. Having 5 daughters at home, having a family, and my buddy told me, hey, listen, I think it's something you should look into, because at the end of the day, one, it'll distract you. Working at a school with 2,000 kids, as we presently do, and having 5 girls at home, obviously, I said for me, it's got to be beneficial, it's got to be worthwhile. So next thing you know, having 5 daughters, getting a Suburban, and starting to move this thing forward, and it was just really something that was a snowball effect. The name Powerhouse, obviously you had Powerhouse Baseball for like 20 years, and when COVID came, that's when the name said, my wife was like, why don't you have the same name, just go with it, everybody knows you as Powerhouse, so Powerhouse picks you up. So next thing you know, talking with Eli, he was here in the off season, in the process, he was doing a little driving here and there, but when he started doing the driving, we talked about it, and we said, man, listen, we can, with all of our contacts, all of our network. Obviously, I coached Eli in high school, and in small world, me and T played high school baseball together also. So it's just a lot of baseball connections that get us into the door. And then after that, we have different people from the NBA that we do, different people from the NFL, and just as ex-athletes, ex-teammates, people that know about the team concept, we try to take care of everybody like if they're part of our team. So
yeah, and Eli, tell me, and just to build on that, Al he's like the VIP when you go to the Marlins Stadium. This guy is going in, they're checking the car to see if there's a bomb in there and stuff, and and he's getting these VIP people from the baseball teams, and he's taking them to the hotel or taking them out, and he has a great contract there, and not only with the Marlins, but with the Heat. I mean, he has a lot of contacts. Eli, give me a little bit of your background on how you started driving, and
Just kind of just like what Al mentioned, with the off season, kind of just dabbling in it. He kind of mentioned to me as well about that opportunity, and kind of took it, and it went well. We noticed a little bit more and more that with the networking and the reaching out, and that people were actually looking for something more private, outside of the standard Uber. So we we started kind of putting our heads together to see kind of what we can do, and essentially, recruited, one or two more guys and three or four more guys, and now we're kind of close to 12, and like Al mentioned, we have a lot of networking opportunities in the industry and entertainment. Like you mentioned, NFL. We also have had some recording artists, different people from other lines of brands of clothing and jewelry, and so we branched out to a point to where it's like a snowball.
Right.
It's kind of pushing us to the direction of kind of like what we wanted to go, and putting thoughts on paper and kind of moving it along, and actually close to launching our website in these next 1 or 2 days, which is another step in our journey. So it's something we're excited for.
Oh, that's awesome. I know that I'm part of their group. I drive and help them out as well, and they the amount of contacts that these guys have is just remarkable, seeing it. And even for Art Basel, Eli and Al set up a we had like 15 SUVs driving these upscale customers all around Wynwood and all around the design district. So it's a different animal when I think we do it, just because when you're putting the athlete behind it, you kind of know how to like treat people a different way. So we kind of, the VIP service is a lot more VIP per se, because we've kind of been there, done that, and of course Eli's been in the major, so he's actually felt how that feels. So he's actually the seasoned pro here when it comes to treating people, because he is, believe it or not, he is one of the best salesmen that I probably know, and he doesn't probably think that he's a salesman. Mm-hmm. But he is always talking to people and helping them out, and that's what I love about working with you guys. And I wanted to get you on the show because you guys have a lot to offer people, and it's the story of how you guys started. Eli, tell me like how you reconnected again with Al, because Al was your coach when you were a little kid, right? So how did you reconnect with them?
Well, I mean, I've always been in contact with Al, so kind of see him as a big brother. A lot of people say, oh, how is he connected to you? I kind of tell him he's my brother-in-law. So we're that close.
Right.
But I think with anything, just for the concept of growing and different stages of one's life, kind of going full circle. How like he taught me, and now we're kind of in this business venture together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's remarkable how you guys he was coaching you, and then all of a sudden, oh shit, we're let's do this business together. It was pretty cool.
It's a trust issue that I think that's the biggest thing that all of our clients have with us. They feel they can call, and if we tell them, hey, anywhere in Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach, if you give us 35 minutes to 45 minutes to an hour, we can get somebody there for you. At the end of the day, a lot of our guys that are in the business are in working together, have outside jobs, and have our full-time jobs. And so a lot of us do it as part-time. We have about 4 or 5 of the drivers that just do driving, and that's what. Anytime that we have trips that come to Ocean Reef, to Fisher Island, hey, we need to go to Boca. Today we have a couple guys going out there. This weekend we have the Food and Wine Festival. We have about 8 cars going out in the morning tomorrow. So it's a lot of things that are happening on a day-to-day basis here in Miami that obviously Eli, myself, T, 3 of us couldn't handle ourselves. We'd have to say no to people. So at the end of the day, we try to facilitate. And that's another part that Eli really works great with other companies, where a lot of companies call Eli that they can't take care of the rides, and Eli goes ahead and either finds them a driver or takes care of it for them.
And so you guys are, talk to me a little bit about how you guys have teamed up with others, with other limo services, because maybe there's another limo service, that needs help from you guys, and maybe you could, maybe tell them how you guys work it, so that way at least, maybe they could hit you up and maybe,
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, one of our first contacts, Al was, I think, was it shopping at BJ's or Costco?
Yeah, putting gas.
Met up with a gentleman named Isaac. He's with 305 Transport, and kind of got talking around and exchanging info. And one of our first big tests as a group, a collective group, was the Taylor Swift concert. So that weekend was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they kind of threw me kind of jobs to kind of a tester to see. The first day, I think we filled about 4 or 5 rides, and then Saturday we filled about 8 or 9, and Sunday we filled about another 10. So, there was other parent companies like Ego Limousine as well. So they were pretty surprised on how we could facilitate and handle those rides in such a short period of time, and getting good feedback from our drivers, which is one of the number one things that we kind of pride ourselves on. So then once that came along, then we had the opportunity for Art Basel with Cartier and their Cartier experience, and it's pretty good to be able to collaborate with other companies, and to be able to have that trust and have the opportunity to work with others to help us kind of lead the way and kind of see how the industry works, and it's helping us grow as a small company ourselves, because obviously we you start small, we want to end up being one of the bigger ones that cover the tri-county of West Palm, Broward, and Miami-Dade.
Right, yeah. Something that you said about like Al, and I believe in the law of attraction, and what you just mentioned was Al wasn't even driving, and he picked that he talked to somebody in a BJ's. Just what a coincidence that you picked up somebody, you talked to somebody, and that guy ended up being a customer, and now he's sending you guys business. So I think you guys keep repeating this out loud. The universe is like hearing you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's remarkable how from one thing it led to another. You're like, how did you even meet that guy in BJ's? Like,
And it's amazing. A lot of our drivers is like that. We can be out on any given night. It's manifesting it. We talk about it. We have to think about it. It's going to happen, and you manifest the part that it's. We need a driver. Okay, how is it available? There's been numerous times that I get calls, or Eli gets calls and says, "Hey, we need a driver." It just happened last week. Eli, are you around Coconut Grove? He goes, "Actually, I'm right here. I just dropped off." All right, somebody needs to go to Pembroke Pines. All right, I'll be there in 10 minutes. So it's at the end of the day, it's having the resources of being able to reach out to people, but obviously having people saying, yes, you know what, I want to work. We tell people there's only one secret to this: wanting to work. If you want to work, there's work out there for you.
So right now you have two things. You're looking for drivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're also looking for possible customers that you could drive around, right?
Yeah.
That's
A lot
what
of
you
clients
got.
and companies that want the service to have us there at their beck and call.
And of course, I've seen it firsthand. You guys could handle big events, because that Taylor Swift event, that was mayhem. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was. I know that. I don't even know. Did you even drive? Because you were on the phone 24/7. I don't think you slept a lick. All those 3 days or whatever. So I know that you guys work hard to get the business, and I know you keep it because of the good service that you guys provide.
Thank you.
And again.
And I think that's something that's kind of helped us, kind of push forward. We talked about, law of attraction, and things kind of are compounding on one on top of the other, and kind of showing us the avenue to kind of like, hey, there's the door, it's knocking, So
Right.
I think, we talked about it. I think it was about 6, 8 months ago. We talked
Yeah.
about, really kind of sat down and put our heads together and see what we want to do. And just within the last month, it's kind of just gone
Taken
full.
off.
It's gone full fledged. So, we're definitely excited about it.
What? So so right now, give us an idea. Somebody, you have your Uber apps and stuff. Tell me why, somebody would want to pick you guys over Uber,
Uber's great, Lyft is great, everybody's great. We use Uber and Lyft ourselves, like when we need rides. But sometimes when people know us and they grow a liking to us, we through our network and of people reach out to us directly, because at the end of the day, we all have kids here, so a lot of times we're driving a lot of families' kids, and they trust us with their kids, and they trust us on a regular day. Hey, pick them up, drop them off. So we have a lot of kids, families, and people that we do have regular routines for them. Like you said, it's not just athletes, it's DJs, it's music producers, it's movie stars that people just call, because at the end of the day they feel comfortable that, the service is going to be there, one, and two, if we can't do it, we'll tell them, hey, we can't do it.
Right.
The honesty is the key.
The one thing you said there that caught my attention was about the kids that you're driving, some of the kids that maybe are friends of yours, and those friends are referring other friends because they rather have a trusted person taking their kid, to school or taking them to the beach to go out instead of getting an Uber. There've been instances in Uber that that are scary, stuff that's happened with these Uber drivers. And I understand you want to have your kid with somebody you trust, and that's where you guys come in. And being in the education industry for the school systems for 20 years, you obviously have somebody that you could count on, and then and a coach, and there's all of that comes into play. So I think that's something that is people need to know, that you guys have a lot of kids, your friends and customers that want you to drive their kids around. Because
I've used it myself. I've been out working, and myself and my daughters need rides, and I've had to call T, say, T, can you take my daughters to this party? So at the end of the day, so it's at the end of the day, I feel more comfortable. I don't want my daughters to take Uber and Lyft if not needed. I rather them go with somebody I've trust, that I know, that I've had a relationship before.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Like, wanting to service the community, with quality service, top tier. Everybody's professional. I think that's what brings us a lot of not only reoccurring customers, but a lot of referrals. That's helped us kind of domino, because we've talked about it as, and like I mentioned before, we've seen more of the lean to. That's just the type of people we are, and people get attracted to trust and comfortability. So we get those reoccurring referrals, and I think that's what's led us to go more of that private route. We can service all types of areas in the community.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you say you're talking about service. You give service, and you give the best service, with the best quantity and quality of service to that customer, and that's why they're coming back to you. This podcast is, it's to help other entrepreneurs that want to take the leap, and that's why I wanted to have you guys on here, because
Thank you.
You guys are, are an example that you could do more than just one thing. You have 5 kids. How many kids do you have?
4.
So 5, 4, I have 3. Where you're talking about people that have kids that we need to hustle to make money, but we also, we know how to treat people, and I think it's great what you guys are doing, and it's great to show others that it's possible. That don't give an excuse that, hey, I don't have time. You make time for some things, and you have kids, so you gotta make money. You gotta be with your kids, with your family. So, you guys are a great example that it could be done.
And that's how it started, the rolling ball effect, with us having kids. And every weekend we're not driving. Every weekend we might be doing things, but every weekend there's people calling. So at the end of the day, in baseball terms, 5, 4, 3, you have a total of 12 kids here that we are overseeing ourselves, of our own family. But in baseball terms, it's third, second, first. So
yeah. Now I want you to give me, give the audience, some advice if they are maybe stuck at this point, thinking, damn, I should open up this business. Tell them what, give them some advice on that.
At the end of the day, I'm a big believer that you got to try. If you don't try, and I was looking at some videos just last week saying you can always stay where you're at and be happy and content with, but if you want more, you got to try for more. And if it doesn't work, you go back to what you're doing anyway. So my family says, man, what are we doing next? What are you doing next? What are you doing next? And at the end of the day, some people feel that that might be too much. Hey, you might be doing too many things. But the reality is, you know what? You can be just content and complacent, or say, you know what? Let me try this, and let me try this. It's just like everything else. It's just you got to shoot for the stars, and maybe you only get to the sky.
Nice. I like that. How about you, Eli?
I think it's kind of what they're saying is, gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you don't have that edge or that dream or that itch, there's something wrong. We're not here to just stay stagnant in life. Always want something more, not only for ourselves, but for our kids and our families. And I think that's what helps you grow and wanting to do more and better.
Right. So the key is, go out there, don't be scared, because you're gonna fail, but at least try failing on something that you want to do. And if it doesn't work out, like Al said, it's not a big deal. You can go back to what you were doing. And somebody that actually that said that, you have Dana White, and he used to be the door guy in one of these like big time buildings that they get paid a good amount of money every year, and he got that position. And he said, you know what, I'm leaving this job and I'm gonna go be a boxing promoter. They're like, are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? And it's what Al said. I go and take a chance. If I don't freaking succeed, I could always come back to this, But if I don't try, I'm never gonna get there.
You just never know.
Yeah. So, that's good. What you guys have said, and what I want you to, I know that you have the website,
phpluxuryservices.com.
Instagram,
PHP Lux, and then we're gonna get it all out to all of our data that we have. We talked about our database. It's ridiculous, which is amazing. We have about 600 different contacts that have reached out to us in the last 2 years when we were doing our math, and we have about almost 30 drivers that we've used in the past. So,
right. Well, that's it's good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put all the information down below on the description, so that way we'll put the website on there, all the contact information, and how to get a hold of these guys, because you're gonna want to use their service, because these guys are the cream of the crop when you're talking about service. So I want to thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much.
And good luck for the future.
Thank you.